All right. Welcome. It is early morning here where I'm at. It is 6:22 in the morning. Ian, what time is it? It's 4:22.
Now it's 2:22.
2:22. Man, my
Yeah.
math is hard. Things are good. Things are good. We are. You don't have class today, right? Or are you already
Yeah,
done
yeah,
with
yeah.
class?
Yes.
Okay. So what we started talking about yesterday was, hey, we want to get something deployed to Azure. And what I noticed when we were talking about this yesterday was your credits were running and your app still wasn't working. You were using up credits. So
Yeah.
what I want to do right now, first thing is let's go delete all the stuff that you had in Azure. Can
Awesome.
we can we do that?
I, yeah, yeah. I already deleted the resource group.
Everything's good.
So that's why.
What's
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
the
yeah.
nice things about Azure is all the stuff that you put in a resource group. If you delete that resource group, it's all gone.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
good. Okay, so I'm going to remind everybody, like if you're here, say hi and let us know where you're joining from because even though it's early, my mom and dad they always watch my shows. So say hi and let us know where you're joining from. On top of that, this is loose. What we're just trying to do is like I want to show you an example of maybe it's not the best way, but maybe it's a better way than what you might be doing. I want to show you how to get into production if production looks like Azure. I don't have cloud money. I've got Raspberry Pi money, so my production is here on Raspberry Pis. But you clearly have cloud money, so we're going to go
Actually,
to the cloud. No,
it,
actually,
they are credits, free credits. You can see I have the logo here. My name is Lese, so I get the credits for free.
oh, that is amazing. You know,
Yeah.
Microsoft does a lot of really cool things. There's a lot of really cool programs, and one of the things is you kind of got to know about the programs in order to take advantage of the programs. So
Yeah.
why don't you tell us about the program that you're a part of first?
Oh, okay, awesome. Um, so it's called Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador Program. So ideally, it's for students. So what we basically are doing is, like for my case, just like promoting Microsoft technology to the students. Say, for example, I have had like sessions on Java on Azure. So yeah, basically what I focus on is anything related to Java and how Microsoft is promoting Java. There are people who do C# sessions. There are people who like basically who focus solely on teaching about Azure. So yeah, that is like what we do. So anyone can join as long as you have the student ID and you're a student. You can definitely join the program. Yeah.
Anderson, thanks for joining. Glad to see you here. What I that is cool. There are a lot of cool programs. Let's encourage people to take a look. What I'm going to do, I need you to install the Terraform CLI because what we're going to do today, hopefully, and not it won't take us too much time, but we're going to use Terraform. Terraform, uh, it's a tool. It's a tool that lets you provision, manage, maintain declaratively uh, infrastructure, software, uh, your environments using code. I like it because again, I don't have cloud. I like to be able to like stand things up. Let me stand something up in the cloud. Let me use it, and when I'm done using it, I want to tear it down, even if that's hundreds of machines, multiple networks, databases. I don't like to just leave stuff sitting around when I'm not using it.
Yep.
So I leaned into Terraform. Terraform works across the clouds that I participate in, and there's also
Next time.
interfaces. Oh, I'm hearing your mic.
Just a moment.
Yeah, the voice assistant or whatever, and that's okay. Like, hey, voice assistants are awesome. Uh, I am on another note. I'm working on something. So I have actually I could do it here. I have text to speech. So like when people are in the chat and they say hello, I have a text to speech app that I wrote that will talk. It'll say what people write in chat only on the Twitch channel. It'll say what people write in chat and it'll say in my ear so I don't ever miss a message. And then that was kind of like step one. There's also this like we have AI now, ChatGPT and all those cool things, that there are a lot of tools that we can do speech to text. So even when we're having a conversation, one of the cool things that I think would be cool is while we're talking, right, we're in the same Discord channel. It would be nice to have a Discord channel maybe that captures our conversation, captures a transcript of what we talk about, so that later, if I want to search and be like, hey, what did we talk about when we were talking about deploying to Azure? And maybe I could search it and I could find that conversation and I could, have an index of the conversations in an easy to digest format. So I think that'd be cool. And then I also have kids. So this, you combine the text to speech and the speech to text, you combine that with some voice recognition, you might be able to do some really interesting things. Like now that we have MCP server combined with Spring AI, I could say like, hey, whatever we decide to call our assistant, hey, beautiful assistant, how many apps are running on cluster one? And let it tell me, hey, beautiful assistant, are all of my systems up to date? Right? Have we applied all the patches that we need? Like, these are interesting things. But yeah, it's all fun. So the whole idea of having a personal assistant, that's cool. I like that idea. So let's, you're getting the Terraform CLI installed. And I'm sharing your screen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull your screen off and I'm going to share my screen. This one. And yeah, same thing. Because we're using Code With Me and IntelliJ, we're going to see the same project. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I've got Terraform CLI. Oh, wait, but this, I'm on your machine. Oh, so what I can do, is this are we on a Mac? Are you on a Linux machine? What kind of machine are you on?
Oh, I'm on Linux. If that was
Linux.
your question. Yeah.
So look at, I'm saying, hey, I'm on your machine. This is so cool. I'm on your machine, and I said, hey, what kind of machine am I on? You name, so I can get information about your machine. That's pretty cool. So then I can say, which Terraform? Oh, and Terraform's already installed. So I can say Terraform -v, and I'll get a version. Is that the latest and greatest? Let's take a look. If I go over here to Terraform CLI and I look, Terraform, where's the Terraform install? Oh, here's, I'll share my screen here. Like, this is where I'm looking. I'm like, hey, Terraform get started. CLI. Let's try this. Terraform CLI install. Linux. Did you do the apt repositories or did you install it manually?
No, I went to the and Terraform/install #Linux, and then I copied the command for Ubuntu/Debian.
So you did these, you did the apt. So if I go here, let's see, if I do sudo apt install Terraform, let's see if that's what it did.
There's the whole like command where we talk about wget and then
Yep. So I want
sudo
you type in your
uh-huh.
password. Type in your password. Oh, wait. Can you see that?
Where should I do that? On my IDE, right?
Yeah. Do you see it?
Okay. Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. Oh, look at that. So it says Terraform is already on the latest and greatest. So you used apt to install it. This is fantastic. And Somto is here. Hello, hello.
Mhm.
And he's asking, what's your IntelliJ style setup? Uh,
I'll have to confirm this. Yeah, I have like
yeah.
some plugins I've installed, Material, Theme UI, and the rest. But I can share that.
All right, fantastic.
Yeah.
So I like to do all of this stuff, and this is again, this is just an exercise. If I do sudo apt update, I like to do this all the time. So what this is going to do, it's going to go and look at all those apt repositories, and it's going to see
Okay.
like, hey, there's 10 packages here that aren't updated. How does that make you feel? You should feel yucky, right? You know how I feel about upgrading, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
and
yeah,
this is the same thing. Your operating system right now, there are 10 packages that people have worked really, really hard to upgrade for you. And there might be CVEs, there might be things that are you're exposed by.
yeah.
And if you don't go and do this, if you don't go and upgrade this, you might be at risk. And I don't want that for you. So I just ran sudo apt update. The next thing I'm gonna type it, but you're gonna hit enter. Sudo apt upgrade -y. I do this all the time, at least once a day, sometimes 3 times a day. So now what you
Okay.
just said is like, hey, go upgrade all those things. There's somebody's worked really, really hard to push out a new release, and you just said, please give me those new releases. I don't want to be on the old version of stuff, especially if there's an exploitable CVE. So please just take care of it. That's the nice thing about having these repositories, yeah, these app repositories, is that they'll take care of you. All you have to do is upgrade. That's it. So this
Yep.
is going to take a little bit of time. It's downloading. That's fine. Oh, it's downloading the Brave browser, which is a nice browser. That's my favorite browser. That's what I choose. And we'll let that go. And that's fine. This happens. But if we do it all the time, we won't run into these big downloads as often because we're getting just small chunks, right?
Yep.
It's not everybody doesn't release all their things at the same time, but just about every day there's a new release. Just about every day of something. And the more stuff you've got installed in your system, the more opportunity there is for a new release. So this is what we're doing. We did a little bit of maintenance. So let's move on because we're here. I'm going to open up. This is going to run in the background. That's great. I'm going to open up a new terminal. I'm on your machine because we're using code with me in IntelliJ. So I just opened up a new terminal on your machine, but I did it. So we're in here. I'm going to just drive for a little bit and I'm going to show you like, hey, here's how I think about things. Here's what I'd like to see. Tell me about this app. This app, I know it's a Spring Boot app. I know you're connecting to Postgres in the backend. Is there anything
Yep.
else going on with this app?
Nope.
Not yet. Okay.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is, hello, Tiru, is that how you'd say that? Tiru?
Firo.
Tiru? Um, Hi, welcome. And for anybody else that's joining and hanging out, let us know where you're joining from because my mom or dad are watching. They want to see where everybody's joining from because most of the people that are joining are not from Kansas City, Missouri, where I'm at. So let us know. Is this a public repository that we're
Yes,
working
it
on?
is.
Oh,
Yeah.
let's share it. I think we can share it. I'll find it here. So if you want to play along, I'll put it in the chat. Joining from Canada, fantastic. I'll drop this in the chat. Here's the repository that we're working on. And that's fantastic. Now, I'm going to, just for this case, I'm not
Okay.
saying that this is my favorite way to do it, but for this case, I'm going to make a directory called Terraform. Now you have a directory called Terraform. Hello from Argentina. Fantastic. This is exciting. Wait, in It's got to be really, really early in Argentina, right? Right? Isn't Argentina like earlier in the morning? I got to go over here, Matt. I got to look at. I got to make sure that I'm thinking right. Argentina. Yeah, Argentina's right there. Like, it's got to be early. Oh, no, no, no. Argentina's, they might be an hour ahead. Okay.
Mm.
All right. Fantastic. We're in good shape. Yes, it's 8:37. It is early in Argentina. Fantastic. So now we have a Terraform directory. That's where we're going to put our Terraform code. Does that sound like a plan? That's where we're going to put our
Yeah.
Terraform code. So I'm going to look at another repository I have to remind myself, because I haven't been doing Terraform a lot lately. So this is Terraform, but it also has ARM. So I'm going to explain the way that I do things in Terraform. Not a lot of people do it the same way. I like to be able to look at the repository and kind of see what's there, see what's being
Okay.
deployed. So what I do is I name the files based on the type, right? So this is an Azure storage account, and we see, hey, what's a storage account? So that I can look at the repository, I can look at the directory, and I can see what things are deployed. I've deployed networks, I deployed Acre ARM. What is ACRB? Azure Redis Cache. So I just giving myself some reminders on how I like to do things. So this is the repository I'm going to be kind of peeking at, even though I haven't touched it in a few years. We're going to try to do some of the similar things. So the first thing is the provider. We're going to be using Azure Resource Manager, Azure's cloud, and that's how we're going to connect. So you are going to have to provide some details
Okay.
so that we can log in your tenant ID, your subscription ID, your client ID. We're going to put that into your environment because we don't want to share it on the screen. We don't want those secrets to get out so that somebody else can go and deploy things. So we have to be really, really careful.
Yep.
And there is a way that we can do this where all you have to do is log in from the CLI. Let me remind myself how to do that. I'm going to go back here to Redis Geek. Maybe it's this one. Yeah, it's this one. I should have a main that'll have a provider. This one's AWS. Oh, I don't want that one. Please hold. Let's find. Let's see if we can find one. Because I don't know it off the top of my head. It's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is AWS. All right, we'll figure it out. So let's go. Let's go look at the Azure Terraform provider. This is one of the really good things about Terraform. The documentation is great. The documentation is really great. So let's go authenticating to Azure using the Azure CLI. I believe you can do that. Let's go down here. Logging in, Azure Cloud, set, name. I don't think I have to do that. Can you do AZ login from here?
Yeah, my credit's going. Okay. From the IDE, let me just do it in a moment. There.
Yep. Can you do that? And,
Yep.
oh, sweet. So then you can open up that browser, and then you should be able to log into the browser, but that'll give us a session that we can use here, so we don't have to provide a bunch of secrets.
Yep.
So here, I'm gonna move this off screen so you can do that.
Yeah, it's already like logged in.
You already logged in.
So
Fantastic.
yeah.
Oh, wait. Oh, but now it says select a subscription and tenant. Did you do that already? You're just
Okay.
going to copy that subscription ID.
Okay. I do that. Okay, I missed something. So just a moment. No. It's supposed to be a one. Something is happening. Let me just redo the copying again. Just a
Okay.
moment. Invalid. Huh.
All right. Well, maybe I'll take a look here.
Something.
We'll try not to put anything. The login output has been updated. Please be aware that it no longer displays the full list of variable subscriptions. You can select the subscription you want more easily. So if we do AZ account list, all right, fantastic. I think that we're in good shape. So now what we're going to do is, instead of, let me go back to my reference example. Where did it go? Which one was I looking at? It wasn't that one. It was this one. So now we're going to copy this. We're going to start off with our provider. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to say, hey, let's make a new provider. And my directories are messy, right? The other examples, they've got like a main, outputs, and variables, and that's it. I make a bunch of files because I want to be able to look at the directory and see what's going on. So here we're in Terraform. I'm making a new file called provider.tf. I'm going to paste in what I had from the other one, except I'm not going to paste in all of this. I think we can do it with this because we're already logged in. And what's our required version of Terraform? I mean, it's got to be like way bigger than that. Let's just comment that out for now and let's see what happens. So here, if I do Terraform init, I think. So whoops. Terraform init. It'll initialize the backend. It's pulling down the provider and it's going to store some information locally.
Okay.
Oh, look at this. Sean really loves assisting teaching. I do. Remember a couple years back? That's fantastic. Yeah, I do like this. And I know that this isn't the right way for everybody, but sometimes it's just nice to have an extra hand. Sometimes seeing the direction, seeing a solution is the way to go and repeat it. So this is pulling down the providers for Azure Resource Manager. The next thing I think that we're going to need. Oh, look at this. Hello. Monsignor, welcome. We are doing Azure. Ian is wanting to deploy something to Azure. So we're going to deploy a Spring Boot app. We're going to deploy a Postgres database. And we're going to use Terraform to do it so that we can stand it up, we can validate it, and then when we're done with it, we can shut it down because we want to save our credits. All right, so now that's all we have. We have this provider file. A bunch of stuff got pulled down here, right? The libraries, the provider information got pulled down. And I typically don't store that Terraform file in my repository. I typically just store the provider TF.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I'll do the init. what do we do next? Let's add something else. So let's add a resource group. Right, this will give us stuff. So I'm just doing a resource group. I'm gonna go over here, file, new file. I'm gonna do it like this: Azure resource group.tf. And I'm gonna paste it here. I'm not gonna have the name come from a variable.
Okay.
I'm gonna just give it a name, and this is our book social network. The location. The location is which region we're gonna put it in. So
Yep.
I'm not gonna do any tags here. We're just gonna go simple. So over here in my variables, I had a location. Typically I would do them in alphabetical order, but I clearly didn't do that here. And we want to pass that location in. So I think that the location has to be one of those regions. So let's go over here and let's go to resource group. So instead of here in the guides, again, the documentation is pretty awesome. So I've always felt really comfortable. Use provider here, not the guide. Down here, resource. Why don't I see resource group? Base Azure resource group. So location, it is a named region. All right.
Yep.
I want to see where's that list of named regions. What region do you want to deploy to?
Should be. Let me also confirm from this area. Should be South
If I go
Africa
here,
North.
Azure CLI show regions. Azure location list.
South Africa North.
So South Africa North. Is this the name that we want? Or is this the name that we want?
Okay, what I can see from the Azure website is it's supposed to be the one with caps, South Africa North,
Okay.
unless
So,
otherwise, yeah.
so we're going to put that in here. We're not going to make it a variable. And that's it. We've got enough now.
Okay.
Yep. East US 2, that's great. If you're in the US, that makes a lot of sense. But if you're not in the US, if you're in Africa, maybe you want to use a region that's closer to you. Maybe you don't want the latency of going across the ocean. So yeah, lots of things. And you bring up a good point though. Do your homework. Different regions do have different prices for different resources. So do your homework.
Okay.
And I hope you're enjoying your breakfast, Monsignor. So let's do this. So what I expect, I don't know if I have all the things set up properly yet. We're going to find out. But what I'm going to do now, I did a Terraform init, so I pulled down the resources that I need. Now if I do Terraform plan, what it's going to do, it's going to, oh, let's see, it says subscription ID is a required. Is it though? Let's go back to our login. Authenticating to Azure using the CLI. We did the login. I just want to do AZ login. Once logged in, it's possible to list the subscriptions. The output, okay, we get a subscription. AZ account set subscription equals this. And that's what we want. Okay, so we have to do this. We have to do this AZ account set subscription. And then Terraform plan should work.
Okay.
So let's try that. So I'm going to jump over here. I'm going to try to do this. If I do AZ account list, I should get that subscription ID. I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to do this command. Where did it go? Right here. AZ account set subscription equals set subscription equals. I'm going to paste that subscription. And then I'm going to say Terraform plan. Let's do, so I'm just going to grab this little block here and see if that makes a difference. Init, right? I don't know if I wanted it to be 4.1.0. We want 4.26.0. Sorry about that. Let's try that again. I'm just trying to cancel that init upgrade. I think we already had 4.26, and that's what we want. So I'm going to actually remove this. And I cannot get this to cancel. And that's okay. We'll wait for it. We're patient. Maybe you can cancel it.
Let me try. Nope.
Nope. Okay. Then we'll wait. Or we'll say this. We'll close that one. We're all updated. That's fantastic. And we can go here. And then let's try this again. Terraform init upgrade. And this will be with 4.26, hopefully. Terraform initialized in, oops, Terraform. All right, so we're on 4.26. We're in good shape. 4.1 got started, but we're going to get rid of that. I'm just going to go delete it because we do not want that one. But let's see if we can do Terraform plan now. Okay, it still says subscription ID. Okay. Well, let's just do this. Let's put in our subscription ID here. And AZ account list. We'll grab it. And we'll throw that in here. Azure, no, Terraform plan. When I run plan, it's saying, "Hey, cloud, if you don't have these things that I've defined, go ahead and put them there. This is my plan. I want to have, and all we're doing right now is I want to have a resource group called Book Social Network. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So this plan is going to go say, hey, in this subscription, hopefully, I don't see a book social network. And it'll say like, oh, I'm going to create one thing. I'm going to create a book social network in South Africa North. That's all that we're
Okay.
hoping to see back. It's doing its thing, I hope. And that's assuming that we put in the right value for the subscription.
Yeah.
And that's what Terraform does. It's like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
we declaratively say, this is what I want to be running there. So like if something disappears, all right, if my database disappears, I hit Terraform plan, Terraform apply, and it'll go put that database back. It'll rebuild it. And that's magic. So while that's happening, I'm going to go, the next thing, which I don't have an example of, is you wanted to use the Azure Container Runner.
Registry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Azure Container, what is that called?
Registry.
That just puts the file there.
There. You passed it.
But this is where we run it, right?
Okay.
Inside of Azure Container App, manages a container app. Isn't that the tool?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just called Azure Container App.
There's a place I saw Azure Container Registry while
Yep.
you're scrolling.
But now the registry,
Okay.
it's just going to store your container. A registry is just a place to hold containers.
Mm.
So we can make one of those too. So look, our plan is done.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, hey, you said that you wanted a resource group, and I didn't see one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one thing. It says there's one thing to add. There's one thing that doesn't exist in this subscription. There's one thing that you wanted that doesn't exist there. So now here's the cool thing. We're going to say Terraform apply. And I'm going to hit -- auto approve, I think is the thing. So this is going to say, go build it. Go make that resource group.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to store the state. It's building it. This is good. It's going a little bit faster. And then what I want you to do, I want you to open up a browser, and I want you to go to your Azure portal. Because
I'm already there.
All right. So I'm going to share your screen. Right now, I think I see your IDE.
Well, okay. So stop present share screen.
All right. So this says that resource is created. So what I expect when you go to your Azure portal, I expect, and I'm going to pull it up now. Before presenting, remove other media. Oh, let me remove this one. What I expect is that we're going to see a resource group, and we don't.
Yeah, it's here.
Oh, no, that's not what we called it. We called it
Social Network.
Book Social Network. There it is.
Yeah.
There it
Yeah,
is. We did it. All right, so there's our resource group. Now, here's the cool part. Is like, hey, there's nothing else there. I'm not using it. I don't think you actually pay for a resource group. It's just like a container to hold things.
Yeah.
But now I'm going to do Terraform destroy. We're done with it. I don't want to use it. It's not doing anything, so let me go and delete it. And Azure's going to go say, oh, I see you got a resource group here. Let me go delete that resource group, and it'll get rid of it. And
Yep.
that's great. So when we're done using it, we're not wasting money. But this showed like we stood up resources and now we're getting rid of those resources. We're cleaning up behind ourselves. So far, so good. One to destroy. It's going to do the destroy. And, Tiru pointed out, like, hey, yeah, these regions are cheaper. I know this, that different regions are also, they have different infrastructure, different speeds, different networks. Not all regions are created equally. So we'll see, things take a different amount of time in different regions.
It's deleted, I guess.
Yep, we're still showing there. It's gone. This is great. So now when
Mm,
you go to your resource group, you should not see book social network.
yep. Let me refresh it and then we head there. Refresh. Yeah, it's not there.
Fantastic.
Oh, the video is a bit lucky.
Okay.
It's lagging.
I'm going to remove your screen and
Okay.
I'm gonna come back up. This says, hey, we're destroyed. So all we did was terraform destroy to get rid of it. All right, so now let's move on. The next thing we want to build is we want to get our app up there. We want to get our app to be able to deploy our Spring Boot app. So we're going to have a resource group to deploy it. And you pointed out, like, hey, we want a registry. We want to be able to put
Yep.
our image there so we can run it. So let's just copy this example. We have our resource group, but now let's copy our Azure Container Registry. So we're going to create a new Azure Container Registry. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a new file. And I'm going to call it Azure RM Container Registry.tf. So that when you come into this Terraform directory, you'll see like, hey, this is what's here. All right. Resource Azure Container Registry. It's just called ACR. We can give it a name. We can say, actually, I can do this. I'll show you something else cool.
You can call it.
Yep, I can call it Azure Resource Group dot name. I can give it the same name as my resource group. So I'm grabbing from my resource group. I'm grabbing the value. Oh, it'll be .platform.name. I'm going to grab that value. Where did I put it? Here. .platform.name. So it's going to grab that value from my Azure Resource Group.platform, this guy, Azure Resource Group.platform.name. It'll grab that same value. That's cool. Another cool benefit of Azure. So the resource group is the same. We're going to use that same platform. And the location, we're going to use the same location. So it's going to grab those values from this guy. So it's going to put everything into that same platform's location. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All the things that we specified here, we're just getting the values from that same resource group. So that we change our region in the resource group, everything else will move with it. Now, I don't know if we want the premium SKU. What are our other SKU options? Let's go, we have SKU, premium, and premium sounds expensive for me. I don't have that kind of money. Basic, that sounds more my type. Let's change the SKU to basic. I'm basic. And these little decisions, they're going to add up, right? Of course, they're going to put premium. They want you to copy and paste this and use all the premium stuff. Do we want admin enabled? Let's see what that says. Specifies whether the admin user is enabled. Defaults to false. I don't think we want it. The cool thing is we can always change it later. So since it defaults to false, we're going to read it. And we don't need geo-replication. Not now, not for this example. But if we did, if we want to make sure that when I deploy a container, it gets deployed to multiple regions, because we might want to do active. We might want this application running in different regions across the globe, so that not
Yep.
everybody's having to travel. Their network travel doesn't go all the way to
South
Africa,
Africa.
right? We can deploy the apps closer to where our users are.
Yeah.
This is nice, but for right now, we don't need this. For right
Yes.
now, I think we're okay here. So let's run a test. Let's do our little test. Let's say add so Terraform plan.
Um,
Now it should say I'm going to create two things. I'm going to create a resource group and a container registry inside of that resource group. Let's see.
Interesting.
So the difference here, when you and I jumped on the call yesterday, the difference here is everything was done in the UI. It was done in Azure Portal. So there was no place for me to go without having to click through and let's find all the information. Let's see where things are put. And it's a mess. Like that's hard to navigate. That's hard to do. But when things are like code, we can see it here. I can go to this repository. I can see exactly what you've got deployed. And then we can really do some troubleshooting without having to go and test and scroll logs. We can go and look, are the values set the way I expect them to be set?
Yep.
That's powerful.
Oops.
Oh, so this says something happened. It said 1 to add, 0 to change, 0 to destroy. Alphanumeric only in the name. Oh, so our name of a resource group cannot be the same as our name for this Azure Container Registry. So let's just give this another. We won't use the same name. Let's call it book.
Just you can
Social.
have it as BSN also.
Perfect. BS. Oops. And all right, let's try that again. Terraform plan. Oh, what did I do? Oh, there we go. What?
Oh, it cannot be
Oh,
less
it's got to
than
be
5
at
characters.
least. Okay. Book, social, network. Had to be at least 5 characters, which makes sense.
Yep. Validation.
And we're gonna test it out. The big difference here when you reached out to say, hey, let's help me figure out why these aren't connected. We're not having to go and chase through the UI. And since this is just a side project, we're able to stand it up and tear it down, and we'll have confidence, right? That we're only
Yeah.
deploying bits that we need, that we didn't check a box on accident somewhere to route logging in the wrong place. We can validate what we're doing. So it says, hey, I have 2 things to create. I'm going to create a resource group, and I'm going to create this registry. And it fills in. It says, hey, these are all the values that I'm going to fill in. So that's cool. But I don't have to deploy it. That just says, hey, I'm going to have a container registry, a place to deploy my container image. So now let's go down here and let's look at these examples. It says, hey, I have a registry. We're not doing it that way. Azure user assigned identity. I don't think we need that. Key vault. We might need that. We want to attach our container registry to container app. We're not going to do Kubernetes, right? We just want to do the Azure, and I think it's just called Azure Container App.
ACA. Yes.
Yeah, Azure Container Apps. Azure Container App. So let's look at this. It says manages a container app. So we have a resource group. We're not going to do the log analytics at the moment, but we need a container app environment. Okay, let's do that. Let's make a container app environment, and then we can make a container app, and we can give it a container. Okay, so let's do this. First, let's make a container app environment. Container app environment. I don't think it needs a log analytics workspace. Let's see if we can get away without it. So I'm just copying this, and it's Azure Container App Environment. So let's make a new file. Azure Container App Environment. And I'm going to paste that demo. I will call it BSN. Perfect. The location is here. I'm going to change this resource group. I'm going to just change it to example so I'm not retyping it all the time. So now we're here in our container app environment, right? This is just a bucket for container apps. We gave it a name. We're grabbing the location from our resource group, and we're grabbing the name from our resource group, and the logs destination. So we have to send logs here. Log analytics workspace ID. Is that required? Let's go down and look at here. We probably want that since we're going to be validating, but it's optional. And I think that's okay. I don't think we need that. We're going to skip this. So logs destination, and those are both optional. So let's do that. I'm feeling pretty good so far. Let's see if our things work. There's another cool thing. We can do Terraform validate. Is everything okay over there?
Yeah. Sorry.
So it says, hey, the configuration is valid. That's great. There's another option. We can do Terraform format. I thought. Terraform help. There's a command that'll align it. Oh, FMT. So Terraform FMT. And that just cleans up all of our copy to give it the right spacing. Just cleans it up, which is nice. A nice little tool. All right, so the next thing we want to do is we want to get our container app. We have an app environment. Now I think we want to do a container app. So here's our app environment, and here's our container app. So let's grab this to start. We're doing an Azure RM container app. So let me go make a new file. Again, because I'm making a new resource type. And I like to describe Azure RM container app. Again, so when I look in this folder, I'm going to see exactly what types of resources are deployed using this Terraform.
Yep.
So we have now a container app, and we're going to call this not example app, we're going to call this the BSN app. The container app environment ID, because I have this container app environment set called example, that's over here. We're going to grab those values. The example ID, the resource group name is coming from the resource group. Revision mode, single, sounds like a good idea. Let's go look at what that revision mode means. It's required, the revision's operational mode for the container app. Possible values include single, multiple. In single mode, a single revision is in operation at any given time. In multiple mode, more than one revision can be active at a time and can be configured with load distribution via the traffic weight block in the ingress. Single is what we're going to do. Sound good?
Yep.
All right. So we're just saying, hey, we're going to do one at a time. Now, this template container, it says, hey, our example container app, let's call it this, BSN container app. We don't want to deploy this image. We want to deploy our own image. And we're saying, hey, it's going to have 5 gigs or half gig of memory and just a quarter CPU. So we don't want to do this. What I think we want to do is we want to deploy our image to a Docker registry,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll pull it into our container app environment. Does that sound like a plan?
Yes.
So let me ask you this. Do you, oh, I just kicked over a bunch of boxes. Do you have your image for this app? Do you have it deployed to a registry somewhere?
Let me check again. I don't think so.
Well, here's what I can do. I can deploy it real quick. So what I will do is I'm going to open up a terminal, and this is just for speed. I have your repository over here in my fun folder. There's the book Social Network. And what I'm going to do is mvnw spring boot build image. This will build an ARM64 image, which isn't what we want. We want an x86 image. So I'm going to go and grab a command here. And I know this is just where my head went. I can pass in the target architecture. So I'm going to pass in this one that says I want to build a Linux AMD 64 image.
Oh,
So
wait.
on my Mac, I'm going to say, hey, build for Linux and AMD 64 so that it'll run on our Azure app image. Because actually, you know what would be interesting? I know that Azure has ARM64 VMs. Can Azure run, if I do this app environment, can I change can I run ARM64 images? Zone, log, work, visual TLS tags. I don't see anything here that says I can run ARM64 images. So I'm going to assume that I have to do x86 images. But let's go look at our container. Let's go down. All right, we can look down here at our container block below.
Oh, and I'm just seeing that I have it on my Docker Hub.
You do have it on your Docker Hub.
Yes.
All right, so then I don't need to create it. I just wanted to look here. I don't see anything that says we can do ARM64. Actually, let's just do this. ARM. Okay, so what is, we don't need to do that. Let's fill in your image name then, here.
Okay, let me have a look at it again. It's supposed to be Duncan Ian / let me just share it. On Discord.
Okay, so it will be like this. I think it's Docker. What will it be? Actually, I don't think we need to do even Docker. I think we just do it like this. I think that's it. It might be the docker.io / stuff, but let's just try this. I'm going to change it from a half gig. I'm going to change it to 1.0.
Okay.
Because I think that's a better value. Unless you made this a native image. Probably not. Okay. So let's try this. All we're going to do is we're going to do our plan. Terraform. We can do the format. Clean everything up. Terraform. We say validate, like, hey, does everything look good to you? and it says, yeah, your configuration is valid. Now let's do Terraform plan. Let's see if what it would create, and let's see if all the things that we're doing are valid. So right now it's going to go look at your subscription. It's going to say, do I have a region there? Do I have a resource group? Do I have a container app environment? Let me go and add a few things. And I think it's going to be 4 things. The resource group, there you go. The resource group, the container registry app environment, the container registry, and the app.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So far so good. This looks like it'll work. I think that we could start here.
Okay.
But there's one more question I have to ask. When you made this image,
Mm-hmm.
how do we tell it which profile to use?
Mm-hmm.
And this might be the problem that we ran into. Because I know over here that you've got these profiles set up, right? You have profiles. So we've got to tell our container, we got to pass some environment variables to it. We got to say, hey, I want to use the prod configs. So let's see how we do that. Oh, look at this. There's an env that we can set up. So let's go look at these env blocks. Name, secret name, value. The name of the environment variable for the container. Yep, just name and value. So watch this. I have an example of that.
Oh, and by the way, one of the challenges I encountered most is handling the variables and also like the profiling as well,
Yep,
because I believe it is where the issue is coming from.
yep. So
Yep.
we are going to, I think, inside of our template, hold on. Oh, I want to be here. Template. I think we want env. A template block. The template block has a container. Then let's go down here to container. Then container block has an env. So inside of our container block, we need this env. And that env, let me go down to our env block. I think it was just value and name and value. Where is it? Where did that env block go? Here we go. Just a name and a value. The value is ignored if secret name is used. So we just need a name and a value. So let's put name equals value equals. All right. So Spring Boot, we're going to go over here, spring.io, Spring Boot, learn. We're going to go look at the docs. We're going to search for profile. Spring profiles provide a way to segregate parts of your application config and make it available only in certain environments. Okay. So what we want to do is spring.profiles.active. That's the value that we're trying to set. But when we set it, I think that we want to do it as this is a -d property, but when we set it as an environment variable, I think it's spring_profiles_active, right? I think. Does that make sense? When I'm doing it as a property in a property file, I do it this way. But when I'm passing it as an environment variable, I think I have to change the naming. And I'm just looking for that example. Let's do it this way. Let's go ask. Let's go ask for help. Like, I want to pass in spring.profiles.active using an environment variable. Don't I have to change the dot to underscore? Right, you use the environment variable, spring profiles active. Yeah. Most operating systems container follow convention. Yes. So that's what we're going to do. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use this for our name. Boop. And our value is going to be prod. All right. So that when we start up, it's going to use the values that are here. Now, these values, it's going to look for JDBC URL, JDBC username. We'll get to that in just a sec, okay? So
Okay.
first thing, oops. Let me go back to where I was. In our container app.
Oh, okay.
All right, I'm here, and I'm changing this to prod. So what that's going to do, it's going to start up this, but it's going to pass in the environment variable, spring profiles active, prod. It's going to pass in that value. This is good, but we need more. Let's go back over here. What are the other values that we need? Well, we got to pass in our data source. We got to pass in our database URL, our database username, our database password. We're going to make it a Postgres database.
Okay.
We got to pass in mail name, mail host, mail username, mail password. Jot secret. we might come back to that one.
Yeah.
So here's what we're going to do. Let's go create our database so that we can get these values. How does that sound?
Cool.
Okay, so let's go back here to our Azure Resource Manager. Instead of looking for a container, now we want a Postgres. Database. We want a Azure Postgres database. Does that sound good? It says manage the Postgres database within a Postgres SQL server. To mitigate possibility of accidental data loss, highly recommend to use the prevent destroy. No, we're not going to do that. We have a resource group. We're going to create a server. This is similar to what you did, right? When you were doing it in the portal,
Yep.
right? So we're just going to do it as code. So this time, I'm going to copy this, and it's a Azure Postgres server. So let's go over here, go back to our Terraform, new file, Azure Postgres server. Oh, whoops. Let's try that again. New file, Azure RM PostgreSQL server.tf. Putting it in a separate file, just for me, right? This is just how I like to organize it so we can see what we've deployed. Somtu says, I think the env is what he references in application YAML. I think the env. I think we're on the right track. But will the things come here? Right, you reference it here. But I think when I pass in that Spring Profiles active, I think it'll ignore this and it'll just look at this one. I
Okay.
think it might take these and this one, but we'll validate it. We'll see in a sec. I forget. So let's go back to our Terraform, and we're looking at our SQL Server. We can give it a name. That's fine. It's going to be in the same location. It's going to get the same resource group name. Let's look at that SKU. This is a B Gen 5 2. Let's go look at what our options are for the SKU. There's probably a ton. And
What
it's
does
not going to
SKU
show
mean?
us. SKU is like the product version.
Okay.
Look at this. We got spam. I apologize for that. I got to figure out how to get rid of the spam. Please hold. If we're on long enough to get spam, that means we're doing good, right? Let me mod view. Let me just get rid of that. Nobody wants that. Done. All right. All right, we're cruising. We have I want to find out which SKU this is, right? Because that might be a $50 a day SKU. So let's go look at Azure PostgreSQL Server SKUs. We should be able to find it here. Azure Database PostgreSQL Server. Let's go look. We are in Africa. We're in Africa, South Africa North, right?
Yep.
Let's do it by month. So here we have Compute Gen 5. Does that mean those are our only options in this region?
Yep. I think so.
I mean, that's expensive, but we want this one, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, here we go. Oh, no. Ugh. That's really expensive. Yeah, see, we don't want to make that mistake. We don't want to make that mistake. Let's get back up here. Basic. This is where we want to look. All right, what is this SKU? We want a Compute Gen 5. We want a basic Compute Gen 5. Is that what we had here? Is that what that is? 5_2? Oh, I'll bet you that was this one. Let's follow my logic here. I think that the naming convention here is basic. We're doing Compute Gen 5. And instead of 2, I'm just going to say 1. Because I only want one CPU. How do you feel about that? I think,
Well,
and you know what we'll be able to do? We'll be able to go in and look. We're going to apply it. We'll stand it up for a few seconds. We'll go see if that's the right SKU, and then we'll destroy it. So that we're valid. So we're not going to production with something that is going to cost us $200 a month in our credits versus $30. And $30 a month for a database, that seems very reasonable to me. I'm just saying. So storage, 5 gigs of storage for a database. Does that sound good?
yeah.
So these are probably some defaults. We don't need geo-redundant backup, but we always change it later. Auto grow enabled, sure. Now, do I want to put in, here's the thing. Do I want to put in passwords hard-coded? No, that's gross. We don't want to do that. So I'm going to show you another little trick, a thing that I like to do. When I'm creating infrastructure, when I'm creating things, I don't like hard-coded passwords. I don't even like hard-coded usernames. Terraform has the ability, it's got a plugin that can generate secrets for us. So it'll generate secrets that we can use, and then when we destroy it, the next time we deploy it, we'll get a new secret. I like
Okay.
this better than hard coding secrets. So I'm going to do that just because I think it's a cool trick. So I'm going to go over here. I think I might have some examples over here. Maybe I got some basic. No, there are no secrets, but I have to have some of those examples. Why don't I have anything generating secrets? Let's just do it this way. Secret. It doesn't need to be an Azure secret. It can be a secret. So please hold. Terraform secret. No, not the secret manager. There's a provider that provides. Kubernetes secret. There we go. Random. There we go. Here's an approach. And it may not be the best approach, but here's one. Yes. Can we save this live? Yes, this will be on YouTube, so you can watch it afterwards. You can follow along. 100%. We will save this, and you can watch it later. Thank you for joining. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go and create a random password. In order to do that, I think I have to add this provider called random, so that it has the ability to do that. So let's go into our provider, and we're just going to add this random. This random provider. We don't have to pass in any config. I'm going to do this Terraform format, just kind of like clean up the spacing. And then I'm going to say Terraform init, so that we can grab that random provider. Remember, we did that init. Let's pull down the providers. Right now, all we have is the Azure RM one. We want to grab this random one. So it's going to go and grab HashiCorp random, the latest version, and it'll throw it in there so that we can use it. That's what we want to do. We want to use it. All right, so now over here we have our random provider. Fantastic. That's what we wanted. That's what we expected. Now we're going to make a random password. So let's go back here. I'm going to do a new file. And I'm going to call it random password. Random password. Let's give it a length of 16. And remember, this is for my Postgres server. I don't want to have a hard-coded username here. So that's got 5, 9. Let's make a random password that has 9 characters. Oops. Nine characters. Special. False. We don't need any special characters.
Yep.
All right, so we don't need any special characters. So this is going to create. Let's call this, instead of password, this is going to be our Postgres username. We're going to make another random password. Postgres password. We're going to make this one all the things, 16 characters. Actually, let's do it like this. Hello. We're going to do it like this. We're going to give it all sorts of PostgreSQL password. So this is going to be 16 characters long, and it's going to have special characters. And we're going to use those values over in our
Oh,
Postgres server. So instead
I
of
have
hard
a
coding,
question.
yeah,
Can you go back to the file that you are in
yep,
for the random? So like this is like a Postgres random username we are generating, right?
yep,
So it's still using the random password thingy that we are having there,
yep.
or does it have to? Oh, okay, okay.
So it's just that we're
Oh, I
creating a
get.
random string for the username,
Yeah.
and then we're going to create another random string for the password.
Oh, makes
So
sense.
we're going to use those over here. Instead of having the hard-coded value, we're going to
Yeah.
say random password dot Postgres. Wait, what was it called? Random password PostgreSQL username
Underscore. Yep.
dot result. So that's going to be the login, and then for the password, it's going to be the other one. Random password dot PostgreSQL password dot result.
Result.
That works, right?
Yep.
Version. Let's go back to our server. Do we want? I want it to be the latest and greatest version, and in this server, let's go back to the server. Postgres QL server. Let's go here. We see the SKU, we see the version. That's what I want to look at. So here's our SKU. Here's our SKU list. Tier, family, course. Yeah, we did the right thing. Version is required. But let's use 11. The latest and greatest. Why would we want to use 9.5 when 11 is available? SSL enforcement enabled. That seems like something we should do. Let's go back and see. It says, should SSL be enforced on connections? I think we should do that. All right. So that's creating our server. But that didn't create our database. That just created the server to host our database. Right? Because you can have multiple databases inside of Postgres. So now, let's go and create our Postgres database. Here. So we have our server already. Now we're going to create a Postgres database. And I'm going to do a new file. I could have done all of this in one file, but then it's just harder to navigate. Database. Azure Postgres database, example, name, sure, let's call this BSNDB. The resource group is the same. The server name is Postgres server example, I think. Yep, Postgres server example. Char set, UTF-8, sounds good. Collation, is that needed? I don't think it's needed. Let's just take the default. It is needed. Note that Microsoft uses different notation, ENUS instead of ENUS. All right, so we'll leave that for now. Prevent the possibility of accidental data loss. Sure. No, I don't want that. I don't want that. Prevent, destroy. I want that to be false because we're going to stand it up and tear it down. We're going to make sure that we've got the right things. So that gives us a database. That gives us a database. So now what we want to do is, remember, we're trying to connect our application. So let's do this. let's go to our app. We have our environment variable. Wait, what if I need more environment variables? That can't look right, right? This needs to be like an array. Let me
Yeah.
go back to this container app. Um, what is it called? Azure Container App. And in that env, in the env block, we need more than one. Here we go. We need an env block below. But what does it look like? What does it look like if I need more than one? Let's do it this way. Hello. How do I add another env variable to this Terraform? I think that's just an array, but I don't remember how to do it. Oh, it's another env block. Okay. So we need values for each of these. We need to have our JDBC URL, JDBC username, and JDBC password. And because of the way we have this annotated, those will come in. It's going to be looking for the environment variables of JDBC URL. So let's go and see if we can fill those in. env name, JDBC URL, value. env name equals JDBC username and JDBC password. Is this making sense so far? Are you
Yeah.
staying with me?
Yeah.
Name equals JDBC password. Password. Value. So we didn't give it a value. So let's do this. Terraform format. Make sure that everything lines up. Nope, we did something wrong here. Oh, I have to give it this. Let's do that for now. And let's just do that format. Okay, everything's lined up. Now, I don't know the URL yet, but the username, can I use this username? I have an admin login and an admin password. I think I can use that. I think I can use that value to log in. So it's admin. Maybe we want to create a different username for it. But over here in my environment variable, I'm going to use that same value. So this is going to be random password dot PostgreSQL username dot result. This one is going to be random password dot PostgreSQL password dot result. Does that make sense? We're grabbing
Yes, it
those
does.
same values. Okay, let's do this. Terraform validate. Make sure that our values are all coming to O. PostgreSQL username. So I did something here. Random password. PostgreSQL post. Oh, sorry. Post. Hello. That looks better.
Yeah.
Let's see if we did it. Random password Postgres. I need that. In container app. I typed it wrong. Post.
Go. It's missing the G.
There we go.
Yep.
See, we're just checking before we hit the deploy button. And Bernard says, where are those values going to be passed in from? I'm not sure which values you're talking about, but what we're doing is we're generating random passwords and usernames. We're generating those as a part of our Terraform. We use this Terraform provider to generate random passwords. And then we're using the values, the results of that here. We're using the result, whoops, here, of that password to define the admin login and the admin login password. So we're just reusing it for our app. When we're saying, hey, I want this app to communicate with that server, here's the URL. Now, we're generating a Postgres server, and one of those outputs, I believe, let's go back to PostgreSQL database. One of the outputs, if we go down here, maybe not there, maybe it's down here in Postgres server. The fully qualified domain name of the Postgres server. So we're going to get an output of the FQDN. And I think if we go over here to our container app for this JDBC URL, I'm going to go up here and I'm going to look at this value. I need a, here, I'm going to grab this. And I'm going to go over here to our container app. And I'm going to say, this is going to look like this. It's going to look like the JDBC URL is going to look like JDBC Postgres, but it's not going to be Postgres. This is going to be the fully qualified domain name. So what I'm going to do, I think, is this. I don't know how the concatenation looks. We're going to fix that in just a sec. But this is the Azure RM PostgreSQL server.fqdn. So let's just grab this and let's ask. Over here, like, hey, am I doing, I don't remember. It's been a while since I've done this. Am I doing the concatenation properly for the JDBC URL? Your JDBC is not correct. In Terraform, the string concatenation is done using string interpolation rather than plus. Here's how you should fix it. Thank you. Oop. In my app here. But this part here, this should be $Azure RM PostgreSQL database dot name, right? I'm going to go back here and I'm going to show you what I was hoping to do. Is we created a database inside of that server. We created a database and we gave that database a name, and I should be able to get that. Oh, that's the ID, but I'm going to use that name. So we're here, the Azure Postgres database I'm going to say Postgres database example name. Does that make sense? I want to make sure that I use the same name instead of hard coding it. I want to use the same name that I used when I created it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm feeling pretty good right now. Let's do this. Terraform format. Make sure everything looks pretty. Terraform validate. Hopefully I answered your question, Bernard. And now let's do a Terraform plan. Let's see if the instructions that we're saying, here's our unit. Let's see if this works.
Okay.
And it's going to go and it's going to create container app, 8 things. So it looks like we're set up properly. You ready to try it?
Yes.
Me too. Terraform apply -- auto approve. Let's go. So now what it's doing, it's going and running the API commands inside of Azure's Resource Manager, inside of Azure Cloud. We told it where to put the things. We told it what regions. We gave everything names. We gave all the values that we think that we needed. And now we've connected the dots. So we've also given the container image, and we've given the container image the environment variables to connect to the databases that we expected to be there. And what Terraform is going to do, it's going to build things in the order it needs to build them. So if I'm referencing the Postgres server from my container app, it's going to build the Postgres server first so that it can get that referenced value to give it to the container app. So this will take some time. Sometimes it takes a couple seconds. Sometimes it takes a couple minutes. Typically creating the databases takes a little bit of time. And we can watch. It says, hey, we created some passwords first. That makes sense because we need those passwords to create the database.
Mm-hmm. So that means anytime you restart the, it like randomly creates other passwords and username.
Yes.
Okay.
So each time we run this, it'll give us a new one.
Okay.
Bernard says, hey, I joined a little bit late, so I was missing the context. We'll join over on YouTube. Yeah, come on. Yeah, for everybody. We've been streaming for an hour and a half. We set up Terraform. We made sure that we had Terraform installed. We logged in to Azure in the CLI. We grabbed our subscription ID so we know where we're putting these resources. We're using Terraform really for our infrastructure as code, so we can stand up some of these interesting resources in the cloud. And when we're done, we can delete them. But we can also, it's not just about standing up and tearing down. When we make changes, we want to change the size of an app. We want to change the amount of resources that app has available to it. We make the change here and we apply the change, and then it'll change automatically in the cloud. Whether it has to recreate it or it can do an update it, the cloud takes care of that for us. The API takes care of that for us. So right now it's creating our server that I can see here. It's creating our server, and then it'll create that database inside of the server. So it says server name Postgres server 1 is already used. Resource group name. Oh, wait a minute. Wait, what? Postgres server 1 here. It's already used. Does that have to be like a global unique or something? That's okay.
Maybe it's
That's okay.
because they have the example.
Watch what we can do. I'm going to go give it a new random. They're not going to sway us. Resource. Random. Password. PostgreSQL. Server name. Or database name. And we'll say length. Sure, we'll make it 16. Hello. Special false. And then I'll go back here. I'll say Terraform format to clean all that up, make it lined up pretty. I'll I'll say Terraform validate. Oh, that's works. But now I want to use this name. So I'm going to go back to my database. Wait, where did the... Oh, it's this one. We're gonna use random password dot PostgreSQL DB name dot result. Except I'm going to change it because it's not the DB name, it's the server name. Random password, Postgres, server name. Why are these green and those aren't? Did I do something wrong here? It looks right to me. But let's go back up here to server, and this is server name. We're just matching. Let's hit our Terraform format, validate, make sure everything looks good, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to apply. It already created some passwords for us. It already had some. Yep, Bernard was on the same page. He says, hey, joined a bit late. Whoops. Sometimes the reference don't work, so you could explicitly define the dependency using a depends on block. Yes, this is true. Is this all possible on the free tier? No. We are not using the free tier. This is using, you're a student ambassador, right, Ian? Isn't that the program?
Yeah.
Ian, because he's a student ambassador, he gets some credits. So we're using the credits from the student ambassador program. I think we use a random resource. Yep, for the name. Yes. Thank you for your help. I love it when we get extra people's eyeballs on things.
Yeah.
So we already had the resource group. We didn't destroy everything. We already had the resource group. We already had some things. Now it only added the one more password. And now it's trying to create the server again. The thing that wasn't there. The thing that didn't exist. So we didn't have to redo everything. We're just now adding the things that were missing. And there was only 5 things that were missing. So we're going to fill those in. We are in good shape. And I think Frank Delporte is joining us. This is awesome because I have a message here. And I am excited to work with Frank because we've got updates for a Raspberry Pi Spring Boot starter. And that's slick. I do enjoy Raspberry Pis. And I'm just looking. I'm going to send this to you. I want you to see this. Please hold, because I'm going to send you a quick picture. I didn't realize that we had so many people watching.
I'm seeing a file here called terraform state.backup. What's its use case?
It's storing the information, all the IDs for the resources that you're doing in the cloud. It stores them locally. So so that when we do our Terraform apply, it says, oh yeah, see, here's where I expect things to be. And if that ID doesn't exist anymore, let me go replace it. So it's a map to what it expects, what it created in the cloud. It has a reference to those things. Oh, we still have another problem.
Yep.
All right, server name already exists. What? Wait, where is this coming from? Postgres server 1. I thought we got rid of that. All right, let's do this. Where is that coming from? All right. Maybe I do need to delete it. Okay, so maybe because it had already started doing that. So let's do Terraform destroy auto prove it's holding on to that old resource reference.
Well, question again. This .backup file, do we need like to when pushing it to GitHub, do we like need to have it not pushed, or we can just push it?
So here, I will show you. I normally, oh, wait, what happened here? It says name did not match this regex for Postgres server name. It needs to have, it can only contain lowercase letters, numbers, and hyphen, but cannot start with hyphen. So in our random name here, we said special equals false. Let's go to our random password. We can do random string. Keepers lower. So I'm going to change it to a random string. And I'm going to say lower equals true, and I'm going to say upper equals false. So I'm going to remove this one because we're doing a different type. New file, random string. It's called PostgreSQL server name. Length 16, special, false,
False.
lower, true, upper, false. Terraform format. And then the server name is string. Did I say that right? Postgres server name. So the server name is that string value. So let's try that again. Terraform destroy. Please work. So yeah, Bernard says, hey, the lock file, we want to have our state in a secure place. And this state has some information in it, right? This, not that one's fine. This one has some secure information in it. It has your passwords in it. So we don't want to store that in your GitHub repo. There is a tool.
Oh, yeah, I see.
You can store it in an S3 bucket. You can store it someplace secure. You could store it in a local, secure file, a vault. You could store it in a vault. There's also a tool called Terraform Cloud. Where you can use this to store all that state. So that's something that we could do on the next show, is we can store all the state so it's secure, so you can have all your config in your Git repo, but your state will be secure in Terraform Cloud. And Terraform Cloud is free. They got a nice, generous free tier. All right. So now we're just deleting the resources. We're starting it again because our database name was not good. I'm guessing the Postgres server name has to be unique in a region. And if somebody else grabbed the same example code that we did, somebody else got that name.
Yeah.
That's my guess. And we're we are going quite long, and I just need to make sure that I'm not missing any other meetings. And I'm not. Fantastic. I'm not missing any meetings. All right. We're still deleting our previous state. The databases take a while. But this is good. So far, so good. Does this all make sense? Does
Yeah,
this
it
make
does.
sense? What we did, we didn't have to guess at where things are. We think that we've wired all the things that we need directly to the resources. So we didn't have to copy any values. We said, hey, go get the value from that thing. Go get the URL from that thing. Go get the host name from that thing that we just created. And it'll get a new one, right? When we redo this, it'll get a new name. So we don't have to worry about copying values and having the right values in the right places because we're generating them and we're referencing them. And that's nice, especially for a project like this. Okay, so now we've cleaned up our old version. Now let's Terraform, apply, auto approve. Go create it again with all these new values. We should not run into that name. We got a 16 character random name for our server name. Hopefully we don't run into a duplicate. But this is, I think this is a thing that a lot of people want to do. They want to be able to say, hey, I got a Spring Boot app. I want to go and use it with a database and I want to make it available. That's great. To me, though, to be honest, this seems like a lot of extra work. I don't want to do this much work every time I want to go and deploy a new app. Just being honest. I want my platform to take care of all this stuff for me. I want my platform to
Yep.
connect all the dots. Give me a database, let me connect to it. But again, right, you've got different options. Everybody's got options. For most of the apps that I deploy, yeah, I'm going to have a database. So I want those things to be easy. I want to make those things like connecting to a database. I want to make that easy. The other piece here is we generated some random passwords. One of the things when you're running a production, you don't really want your passwords to stay the same forever. You want to
Yeah.
rotate your passwords. You want to be able to do password rotation. Because if a bad actor, somebody gets a hold or they just guess it, over time, the longer you leave the same password, the more chances you give a bad actor, somebody doing bad things, you're giving them just more time to figure out your password. Right? With the speed of computers today, it's just a matter of time. So we try to rotate our passwords. And I want my platform to do that. And there's ways that we can make this system. We can do this with resources that are available in Azure, but it's more complex. We have to do an Azure secret manager, and then we've got to configure our database to use a secret from the secret manager. We can connect the dots. We can do those things for sure. It just takes a little bit more time. Too much time. I want a platform that just does these things for me. Oh, Bernard says, I still haven't booted up my Raspberry Pi. Why? Why? Get that Raspberry Pi going. So he also asks, are you deploying the Spring Boot app via Terraform, or are you planning to separate that? We are deploying it via Terraform, but we're building the image, we're putting it into our Docker registry, and then we're just deploying that image from our Docker registry to Azure. All right, so now we've got an invalid username. So we did our Oh, it started with a number on our server. All right, so my whole like exploration of doing this random password, um, when I did this username, I didn't do a great job with the username. So let's move this username. Oops, did I do that right? We're gonna move that over here. We're gonna call this a string. And instead of being a random password, it's just gonna be a random string. And it's gonna be, we'll make it 16. Special is false. We're gonna say lower equals true. We'll say upper equals true. And then we'll say numbers equals false. Over here. Number deprecated. Numeric false. All right. Terraform destroy. Start over. But that's okay. We can do it. We can start over. We don't have to chase a bunch of stuff down. It says Postgres username. Whoops. We're going to go fix that. Postgres, I changed it from a password to a string. All right, Terraform format. Terraform validate. Random password. Oh, this is in container app. We have to make that change over here too. Username is string. All right, now we can Terraform destroy, which will take a little bit of time. So let's use that time. Let's talk about, you've got a workshop coming up. You got a spring loaded boot camp coming up.
Yeah. Yeah, we have one, and luckily it's Dashan. So
Me?
it is the first time we're having such in Kenya for the Java user group. It's actually the Java user group in Kenya, and yeah, we're really excited for that as well. So
Do we have
really
a
looking
registration
forward to that.
page for that yet?
Not yet. We're still finalizing on some things about sponsors and everything. So yeah,
Okay,
but we'll roll out as soon as possible. Yeah.
fantastic.
So for the
Fantastic.
devs in Kenya, we're bringing Dashan in Kenya.
I'm coming to Kenya. You've got room. I'm going to be sleeping on your couch. I have my flights, but I couldn't afford a flight and a hotel. So I got my flight, and I'm going to just sleep on your couch. I hope you have a couch.
Yes, I have
Okay,
one.
perfect, perfect. And yeah, and I'm going to be there for a couple of days, and it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Sure.
We're going to do a nice long workshop.
Boot camp.
It's gonna be nice.
Very nice.
I'll show all the things. And maybe doing Terraform stuff would be fun as part of that.
Yeah. Yeah, we can build something and go to the production as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Oh, I was learning Terraform. Yesterday you mentioned Terraform. I had it from somebody long time ago, and I had to go through it. I don't know if you mentioned like Terraform for those who are starting out. It's is it cloud agnostic or something? So you can do it in any cloud provider or service
Yeah.
provider. Yeah.
So I'll be honest. Um, I like Oracle. Let's see. I like this one. Oracle has a very, 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 very generous free tier.
Okay.
So I like this provider to stand things up, and that's my default. Right? Oracle is my default cloud. Because I don't know if you knew this or not, but Oracle, they're the stewards of Java. I'm a big Java fan. And so, yeah, I have fun hanging out in Oracle Cloud. The generous tiers, they do have a lot of cool resources and things like this Terraform's, the API for standing up and tearing down resources. Not all the clouds are equal. If we did the same exercise, and I'm just guessing based on past experience, and maybe the region has something to do with it, but one of the interesting things that I've seen, that I've witnessed, and the things that I do in Oracle Cloud, Oracle's cloud is really fast at provisioning and unprovisioning infrastructure. Like, fast. So that this time that we're spending destroying and tearing down, or applying and tearing down, in Oracle Cloud, that's just typically it's faster from my experience. And it might be region specific. Like we might
Nice.
just be, this is happening because of the region that we're in. But it's one of the other things that I like about Oracle Cloud. Yes, yes. Bernard says interesting. Didn't know. Yes, the Oracle Cloud, their free tier
Infrastructure.
is generous, and it's not just generous like, hey, here's some tokens for you to go out and try. It's generous, free forever. You can have up to this bar of free resources forever, and it's nice. I'm a fan. I am a fan. So we're getting there. So we're at this point where our app is already containerized. What we're trying to do is get this Terraform. I should have done more testing along the way, so we didn't run into this at the end. But we're trying to get this Terraform to deploy all the resources that we need, the app, the container registry, the app container environment, the database, and we're going to connect it. So we just destroyed our last run, and now we're going to do apply. Yeah, you do it.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Apply. And right now we're using IntelliJ's code together feature. So we're sharing Ian's IntelliJ. So I'm working in it. We're programming it together, which is a really cool feature, especially for something like this. We're all in the same
Yeah.
spot, and yeah, we can navigate between each other's stuff. So this is fantastic. So now it's just going to go out and try again. It's going to go and try to apply all these things. Bernard says, "Yeah, wow. I assume that was around the free tier. Got to give it a go. You should. You should give it a go." And I know a lot of people lean towards AWS, and I have an opinion here. Like, and maybe it's just a personality thing. But I've said this many, many times. When I started doing things in the cloud, the team that I was on, there was already AWS experts. There was already GCP experts. And in order for me to get in order for me to like be an expert, I didn't want to chase somebody else that was already an AWS expert. I wanted to find my own spot. So I leaned into Azure at the time. And I tried to go in and learn Azure as good as I could so I could be the Azure expert on my team. But if you're going and looking for a job, right, AWS has tons of engineers, right? It is the predominant one, right? There are lots of resources for now. But yeah, I think Azure's moved past GCP, and now I think Azure's taken over that second place spot. But if I wanted to go into the cloud, I don't want to go and jump into the pool that is the most competitive. If I'm wanting to have fun and do cloud things, I want to go into the cloud that's going to give me the most opportunity. And if I go into today, in 2025, if I go in and I learn Oracle's cloud, which isn't overwhelmed, which doesn't have 100,000 people coming to their conference every year, right? This is a space that has all the latest and greatest technologies, but the market isn't already flooded. you have an opportunity. I have an opportunity. We have an opportunity to set ourselves apart from the rest of the pack, right? The
Mm-hmm.
the customers and they're doing things, right? Most enterprise customers aren't all in on one cloud.
Yep.
There are definitely a few that are all in on one cloud, but most actually have a footprint in multiple clouds. And I don't know if you've heard of Oracle, but Oracle's database is pretty amazing. And it's being used by enterprise customers all over the world. So most
Hmm.
enterprises have Oracle and
I'll have to
Oracle
check it
Cloud.
out as well.
Yeah, that's just my opinion, right? If I want to set myself apart, I want to go, and this it's also just like AI. Like if you're doing AI today, right? Clearly, it's gonna be a game changer. But if you get in today and you're using something like Spring AI, you're putting yourself at the front of the pack. Take it, learn it, do new cool things with it, so you can set yourself apart.
Yep.
Right? A year from now, everybody's going to be doing it, but you have an opportunity to give yourself a year head start. Right? Get into it now. That's just my opinion. Being a fast follower is great, right? There's tons of opportunity there too, right? You
Yeah.
can you can wait for a market to get decided, and then you can try to go find your way, or you can be paying attention to the new markets that are coming, right? The new markets that are growing quickly right now. You can go get in on one of those. You can ride the ride there, and you can become an expert before everybody else realizes, oh, I should have paid attention to Oracle's cloud. I should have paid attention to Spring AI. Go and get on it now.
Yep. I see we've already surpassed the era we were
We're
encountering
cruising.
earlier. Yep.
We are cruising. And it gives us these nice timings so we can see how long things take to create.
Yeah.
So we're almost there.
Yep. So what is
And
next after that? Okay.
after this, it's let's go get our URL for our container app. And you can go and grab that. We could have grabbed it from our output. We could grab the
Mm-hmm.
URL for it. But you can also, when this is done, you can go and look in your portal now. Go to the Azure portal. I'm going to remove my screen, and I'm going to. Are you in the Azure portal before I pull it up?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to pull up your screen, and yeah, go to your browser, and you should be able to go to our resource group, and you should see our resource group is created, and we should see some of the other resources that are there.
Just a moment, let it load. I realized the video. Yeah, we have it here. Do you see it?
I see it.
Okay.
But right now, I'm still seeing the resource groups. Click into that resource group, and let's
I
see
have
what is there.
we have the book social network. The container registry is there.
All right, yeah, we're cruising. Container registry is there. Our database is coming. This is fantastic. This is we ran into an error. Let's pull this. I'm gonna remove this one, and I'm gonna jump back over here, and it says manage environment name performing creator update unexpected 409 missing subscription registration. The subscription is not registered to use namespace. Oh, I know what this is. I think our app BNV manage. The subscription is not registered to use namespace Microsoft.app. Performing creator update. It says missing subscription registration. The subscription is not registered to use the namespace Microsoft.app. I don't know what that means. Let's try this. So I'm looking here. I think you can see my screen.
Yes.
And I looked like, hey, here's the missing subscription. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do this. Instead of Microsoft.cdn, I'm going to try to say Microsoft.app. And let's see what happens. What could possibly go wrong? Registering is still ongoing. You can monitor using. All right, let's do that. That seems like a lot of stuff, and I don't know where to look. Okay, so let's just do this. Because I'm not going to read through that. TLDR. Let's just do our apply. Some of our stuff has already been applied. This is going to, watch this. I'll do it this way. I'll say Terraform plan. This will do a diff. It'll tell us like what exists and what doesn't. And it'll tell us, whoops, Terraform. It'll tell us what it needs to apply still. So it's got passwords already set up. It's already got a database set up. It's trying to do the container app. And so I think it's only going to be like two things maybe that are missing. The container app environment and the container app is what I think is missing. I think it's already got the container registry, so we'll see. But this is doing a diff between what we've defined here in our Terraform and what exists in our subscription in the cloud in our region that we defined. And it'll tell us like, hey, there's 3 things I need to deploy. 3 things that I need to create. 2, I think. I'm guessing it's going to be 2. The container app environment and the container app. So this is it. And I'll be honest. This is cool. And I know you're an Azure ambassador, a student ambassador, and we should be using this, but I would like to do this same exercise over on Oracle.
We can schedule one and talk
We
about
should.
Terraform as
We
well.
should. And just do it. Because when you do that, you get a side by side, right? And we've got Spring developers all over the world, right?
Yeah.
And not everybody has a nice Azure region next to them,
Yep.
right? Maybe they
Yep.
got different. So look, there's 2 to add. All right, so that's the plan. It says, hey, if you apply me, there's just I'm gonna create 2 things. So let's do that. Let's go and do the Terraform apply. Auto approve.
There you go.
Go build those 2 things. And now that we've hopefully we've got this Microsoft app
Yep.
subscription that we can use. And I find that weird because you had the app deployed, didn't you already? When we looked at it yesterday?
Yeah.
So I don't know what that
Yes.
is about. It seems a little off, but we'll see. We'll see.
So for Oracle, is it like the same process as well? So you're just changing some few.
It'll be very similar. Right, let's,
Right.
while we're waiting on that, let's go look. I think I have GitHub. I think I have some old Terraform for OCI. Yep. Because when I used to build ARM images for my Raspberry Pis, I used to have a server running inside of Oracle's cloud because Oracle, again, generous free tier, they had this, I got like a 24 gig 4-core VM to use for building these ARM images for free. And it was awesome. So here's the Terraform, and the Terraform is going to look very similar, right? Like, hey, we set up our Oracle core. You do have to set up a little bit more details, subnet and internet gateway, security list. I added security, but I didn't do this. I got this from my good friend Lee. I'll show you. I forked this from Lee in his to do the work. So he created this a long time ago, and he's like, "Hey, Deshaun, here's some awesome Terraform." So I took his work. Again, just using those providers. I do authentication with GitHub, so I was able to authenticate. But yeah, and I'm also generating. I made it when I deployed the VM. It automatically got connected to my Tailscale network, so I automatically had access to it, which is cool. But it's going to look very similar. You're going to kind of do the exact same things. The constructs, the building blocks that you use, right? I didn't have to do all of this, but Lee being smart, he's like, yeah, here's all the security rules. We only want you to have access to these things. Yeah, and he took care of that for me. And then we define here the image that we're going to use. So this is an Ampere ARM64 image that we're using. And an Oracle ARM instance, and then the details. Where is that? The boot volume. Here we go. I got 24 gigs, 4 cores, so you can kind of shape and size the VM, and that's what I used. So you get all of this really, really cool, powerful stuff. Hello, welcome. We are deploying. We're deploying right now to Azure. We're deploying our. Oh no! What happened? Okay. All right. So this is a subscription thing. So maybe our subscription is limited. It says container app name, BSN app, bad request with error, container app, invalid resource total. The total requested CPU is invalid. Total CPU and memory for all containers defined must add up to one of the following. CPU is 0.25, memory is 0.5, CPU is 0.5. Oh, we got to change the size. Sorry. In our container app, over here, this needs to be 0.5. We had a bad combination here. So guess what? I changed that value. If I did plan, we'll do it. It's going to say, I've only got one thing to create. I've got the environment done. And we broke on that container app. So when we run this plan, it's going to say, oh, I don't have that app deployed. I'm going to create one thing. We'll give it a second. This is just an exercise. But saying, hey, look, I've got one thing to add, and it's that container app. And we changed the value so that it matches what we got back. So now let's do that Terraform apply, and it's going to deploy this app with a good value. hopefully.
Yep.
Fantastic. So is this all making sense?
Yes, it does.
We still haven't done any debugging, but what we've done from yesterday, what we've done is we've given ourselves software. We've given ourselves some config here that describes our app, describes how we want it to be deployed. And we've also described how we want it to be connected. We said, hey, for this URL, I want you to go and grab the server name from that server that we just created. I want you to grab the database name from that server that we just created. All right, we have another issue here. Okay, so now it says template container image invalid with details. So I think what we need to do here is just we have to give it the full, the docker.io
Mocha. Yeah.
in here where we give it our name. I think it's just docker.io. Is that right?
I guess. Let me see.
Here, let's go over here. Like what? The container name isn't recognized by here. The container in the template exists in Docker Hub. What should that URL be? I think it's just docker.io. There you go. Yep, docker.io. So we change that. And I can even do this, right? Do you have a latest?
Yeah.
Yep, that's the tag.
Yep.
Okay, so let's try it again. I'm not going to do the plan. We already know the plan. It's still got to fix this. So let's just do the approve. Let's push it. And what we did, we changed the image because it said, hey, that was invalid. Failed to provision revision for container app. Error details. The following fields are either invalid or missing. The BSN container app image. Yep, that was this. Is invalid with details. Invalid. Did I, is that the right name?
Yes, let me just counter check again. Where are you? Supposed to be. Where at? Docker.
Let's go look.
Yeah, that should.
Let's go to yep, that's right. And
should be 1.0.0.
yep,
Yeah, the tag.
yep. 1.0.0. Fixed, and we'll retry. No problem. That was fast feedback. David says how we should do versioning. For example, we have app that have 1.0.0. We want to deploy 1.0.1. We should keep it in TF file and change it manually. That's what I think. So if we're working together and I'm wanting to deploy your new app, what I want you to do, what I think is a good flow, is you go and create your new 1.0.1 version, right? In a pipeline, you've done a thing, and that CI, right, is separate from CD. CI, you build your 101 and your test pass, and now we've got version 1.0.1. When it's ready to deploy to production, when you're ready to continuously deploy at CD, then you go in and you change this value in the Terraform. If we're using Terraform to deploy it, you change that value here to 1.0.1, you do your pull request, and then me being the platform person, when I'm ready to deploy it, when I'm ready to watch that deployment, I will apply that merge and I'll take it to production. I think that is a good process, a good kind of separation of concerns. Okay, we have a problem here. It says, this already exists. To be managed by a Terraform, this resource needs to be imported into the state. Please see. Okay, so this container app example, it pulled it in, but it had the old one. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this. Watch this. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to comment it out, and then I'm going to apply those changes. So it's because I've commented it out, it's going to go delete that container app image. So watch this. We're going to do a plan. It's going to say, hey, I've got to delete that one. So remember before we had one to add? Now we're going to say, it's going to say one to delete. And then we'll apply it. Oh, it says it matches. Wait, what? No, I wanted to delete that. This right here, a resource with that ID. So this is, I think, a delta in how the API works and how it's expected. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to go, I'm going to pull up your screen, Azure portal. We're going to go delete this Azure container app called BSN app. We're going to go do that manually. Even though I don't like it. I could have done destroy it and destroyed everything and then reapplied it. But we know how long that takes. So let's go to go to your resources. You can just hit refresh there. At the top, there's a refresh button.
So I need to which one do I need to do away with?
Nope. Go to the top of the screen and hit refresh.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not seeing it.
It's a bit slow. Yeah, okay. It's a bit slow.
We want to the container app. I think it should be called BSN-app. I can't see it.
Oh yeah. Okay. Then let it just load.
Yeah, we want to delete that, and then we'll just hit apply and we'll redo it. Hopefully, David, I answered that question, and thanks for asking. Thanks for being here. Yep. And then
can you see it now?
I can see it. Yep. And then just hit delete. Not resource. Nope, not that one. Just the delete button. So it's up on that row, but it's on the right.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. It would have been fine, right? Even if you did that, it would have been fine because then we just hit Terraform apply and we'd have it back. I can't tell if it's going or not.
Yeah, it's deleting. So
okay, so since that's deleted, we'll wait for that to finish. And while that's deleting, I'm gonna hit Terraform plan back in the IDE, and I'll see if it says, oh yeah, I gotta go create one.
It's already deleted.
Okay. So now my Terraform plan is running. We'll switch over to that screen, which is your IDE. We'll switch over to your IDE again. And we'll see that the Terraform plan is running. We'll see that hopefully it says 1 to create. Perfect. 1 to add. And then let's go apply it. And hopefully this is our app deployed to Azure, our Spring Boot app, deployed and configured using a profile to connect to the database that we deployed inside of Azure. That's the other key here, is we want to make sure that these things aren't just deployed. We want to make sure they're connected properly.
Oh, as we wait for it to continue like doing it, so I just wanted to like, oh, we've done it.
We've done it. So now what we can do is we can do a couple of things. So let me go over here. I want to add one piece. We had our container, our container app. Where is it? Container app. The output. Where's the attribute? The location is deployed. Here we go. The latest revision FQDN. The FQDN of the latest revision. So we want to grab this. So I'm gonna go like this. Whoops. I want to get that latest revision FQDN. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna say I'm gonna create an output here. I'm gonna create a new file, and I'm gonna call it output.tf. And I'm gonna go copy one of these values from over here where I did outputs. And I did way overkill here. We're gonna do it this way. So we're gonna have some BSN config. Oops, BSN config. And what we're going to have is we're going to create a URL. And that URL's value is going to be Azure RM container app dot example dot this. Whoops. Latest revision FQDN. Latest revision FQDN. So when we do the output, it's going to give us the URL to the app. So then output, we'll just call this BSN config. Value is local.redis BSN. And that just gives us JSON output. And this is false. There's nothing sensitive there. So let's do this. Terraform apply -- auto approve. We're not deploying anything new. All we're doing, BSN argument is required here to set an argument equals what? Where? Oh, I needed this.
You put them to there too.
There you go.
Yeah.
Make sure everything's good. Blocks are not allowed here. Where? What? Oh, I know why. I didn't copy it right. This needs to be equals. Equals. Validate. Looks good.
Yes.
Now let's apply that. And now we're not deploying anything new. Here's a good question. Does IntelliJ support Terraform syntax highlighting? Yes. And what we probably don't have is the Terraform plugin. But right now we're on Ian's computer. But it does. There is a plugin for Terraform syntax highlighting. That is a great question.
Let me check it out now. Plugin. Terraform.
Oh, my side says host is unresponsive. I don't know what happened. Oh, it says installing Terraform and HCL plugin. Fantastic.
Oh.
All right, we're cruising. We are cruising. All right, so now it's modifying, and all it's doing is modifying the output. So we didn't have to deploy anything. It's just giving us a new value that we're going to capture on the output.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and hopefully this works. Fingers crossed, right? We haven't validated this at all. I've said, hey, this is the right way to go. This is how we're going to validate it, and this is how we're going to get your app deployed to Azure. But we haven't done any tests along the way. We haven't validated this is going to work. I'm just crossing my fingers, hoping from memory that we got this working.
Yep.
And what we just did was we added some output so we can get the URL. So we don't have to go to the portal. Nobody wants to go to the portal. So hey, we've got, oh boy. We don't have the latest revision FQDN. It didn't give us a value. Why? Why didn't we get a value? What did I do wrong?
I need to check something as well. I don't know. Like I think I read from Azure there is gonna be like a deprecation of I think it's Azure Container Apps or something. Let me just confirm.
Uh-oh.
That yeah, they are moving to I guess Azure Functions. Let me just confirm.
That's okay. Let's go back up here. I just want to get the output. We can go do it from the portal. I just wanted to get that value, and I don't know why. Maybe it's ingress. Let's just add that. So I'm gonna say so this is nice. So now that you added that plugin, I get this autofill too. So now I've just said, hey, let's add the ingress and let's see if we get a value there. And we're just going to add that to our output. So let's do Terraform format, Terraform validate, and then Terraform apply. So that we'll get that ingress value. See if we can get the URL to our app. I felt like this. Oh, the FQDN. Yeah, I feel like we should have gotten that. But we'll see. We'll see. We're trying it out. I'm not a big fan of going into the portal to find the information that I want. I would much rather have it here. Change attribute hidden. Let's see if we get our ingress. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. All right. Well, those both look empty, right? If I do Terraform output, those are both empty. That's unfortunate. Why? Why is that? Why don't we have a URL? I'm gonna kick it back to you. Are you ready to go into the portal? Let's see what we can find.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Pull your screen back up. Oh. All right, something's crashing. Let's view those details.
Can you see my screen?
It's still loading, I think.
Oof.
It says running status failed. Let's view the log stream.
System or console?
Console. So what I'm realizing is we haven't made any progress whatsoever. This is where we were last night. I was hoping that we had configured our app to be connected properly, but it doesn't appear that way. All right, I'm going to try to read, but I'm not having a... It's a little blurry for me. Please hold. I'm going to try to make it bigger. All right, property config. Let's scroll up and let's see if we can find the issue. Or do we have any logs that we can scroll to? No,
This
that's
is
it.
all we have.
That's it. Oh, okay. Click on system. Let's see if we get anything else.
Hi.
Here we go. This is connecting.
I don't know.
That's okay. We'll figure it out. We're going to figure it out together.
I can already see the logs. I don't know why it's taking a lot of time to load. Internet speed. Pretty good.
So my default, my guess. All right. that didn't really help us.
Yeah.
Go back to the console logs and let's just restart the app and let's see if we can capture it. So click on console.
Yeah, I'm headed there. Mm.
And then what I want you to do is in another tab, I want you to just restart the app. So we can hopefully find out what's the error. I'm guessing in that it's our config isn't set up properly. Like maybe the revision that we have, the 1.0.0, has different properties set up, but we'll figure it out.
Where at here? Just a moment. I'm restarting the app. Oh. Stop. I've stopped it. Then I start it again.
All right. And then let's go look at those logs. See if we can capture where the problem is.
It's already started. So, replica not found. Replica not found under revision.
Oh, I can't see it.
Yeah, that's the issue. Huh. I don't know what the issue is. It's still sharing the previous window, right?
Yep. We'll give it time. We're patient, right? We've been doing it this long. Replica not found. Replica was not found under revision. Replica wasn't found? So interesting. So here's I got an idea. Let's do this. Let's build a new app, and let's just a hello world app.
Okay.
And let's make sure that works.
Yeah.
Then we will know like, hey, we've got the right reference to the image, and the image is being deployed. Right? Do we even need the registry? If we're pulling from, I don't know that we even need the registry. Since we're pulling from Docker, but maybe that's the issue. Give me one sec. I'm gonna go peek at this Azure Container app, and I'm gonna go look at what it says exactly for the container image. container CPU env image, the image to use to create the container. I think we're okay. And that also makes me think we don't need the registry, because we're not referencing the registry. So let's do that. Let's build a simple hello world and make sure that that gets deployed. So let's do that real quick. I'm going to drive. I'm going to take over the screen real quick.
Okay.
And actually, I've got an image that no, I need an x86 image. So let's do this. I'm going to go down one level. I'm going to make a new directory called Hello World. I'm going to do this. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Please hold. I will go here. I'm going to go grab this. I didn't want to do that. But I could do that. Do you have... Do you have that? No. Git clone. Trying to make it fast. Let's go as fast as we can. Do we have something easy? Let's do that one. Nope. There's no... we'll do the 2.7. -7. We'll say clone, copy, git clone this. cd hello spring boot 2.7. We're going to edit the pom.xml because we're not going to production of 2.7. Three 3.4.4 is the latest. And then we're going to do this. Hello. MVNW spring boot build image. I'm assuming that you have Docker installed so we can build this image. Fingers crossed. We're using a build pack, so we'll get a really nice image. It's building. We're going to have a Hello Spring 001 snapshot. It's downloading the build pack in order to build our image, so we don't have to mess with Docker files because friends don't let friends use Docker files. And this will take a while. We're streaming and we're downloading build packs, so this is going to take a little bit. But this is how we're going to validate that we're naming our images properly. So fingers crossed. Oof, this is going to take a little while. And I'm going over to peek at my calendar. All right, I got a little bit of time left. But so far, so good. So far, so good. We were on the right track. Our intentions were good. We have software defined everything. Our infrastructure is defined with Terraform. We chose Terraform because we don't spend all of our time in one cloud. Terraform gives us this nice the ability to switch, right? We have Terraform providers for all sorts of different things. I just need to stand for a little bit. It's been a long morning already. And now we're into a spot where we're stuck. Our revision, our app that we think is configured properly, our app wasn't working. So what we're doing now is we're going to look at a different app, a simple app, a Hello World app. It doesn't even have Hello World. It just has an actuator endpoint. We're going to deploy that, and we're going to see if that deploys. It doesn't. It's not looking for any database connections or anything like that. Yeah, we're going to see if it works. It'll take some time, and that's okay. This is just how we're going to validate it. So what else? What else should we be thinking about right now? Our logs didn't help us. We've had good questions along the way, but we're to that point now where my audience, they're all at work, right? Everybody in the Americas, they're at work or they're on their way to work right now. So our questions have kind of died off, but this has, I think, been a good exercise. I do want to revisit and do this again on another cloud. But now that we have Terraform to look at and we know what we've done, when we're bouncing between these different clouds, a lot of the constructs are the same. Again, this is why I like to have a platform. I want a platform, and I'm being very transparent here. I work at Broadcom, and I'm a big fan of Cloud Foundry because Cloud Foundry gives me an abstraction that I can deploy to any one of the clouds, and I can just do a CF push. I can do a CF create service, and I get a database. I can do a CF push, and I can do a CF bind. I can just say, hey, I want this app to be bound to that database, and all of that stuff is done for me.
So you don't have to like do configurations.
I don't have to do all this stuff. Right? It's good to understand how to do this stuff.
Yeah.
Right? This is valuable experience knowing what's under the abstractions. But once you've like understood the value of the abstraction, the value of having a platform on top of these, right? On top of Azure, on top of GCP, on top of Oracle, on top of AWS. Once you've got that abstraction and you understand what it's doing for you, then stay with the abstraction.
Yeah.
Make it easy so we don't have to do all this. Ugh. And we'll get into that soon. You and I will get into that. Last night, as I was streaming with my daughter last night, we put together a new server. We put together some new racks because we are going to deploy our own Cloud Foundry foundations. And we'll have that abstraction layer here locally, but we'll get to play around with it. And you'll get to see the difference between operating. And even Terraform, it's still kind of low level. And sometimes you need that flexibility. I get it. But I want to be up here. I straddle that line a little bit. But for you, for the developers, for everybody, I don't want you to have to deal with this. And yeah, I think it's valuable for a developer to understand how, but I don't want you to do that as your job. I don't want you, Ian, I don't want you looking for a job to be a cloud engineer and be doing Terraform. I want you to be doing Java. And I want you to be building software and taking it to production. That's what I want. And I think that's what most of my audience wants.
Oh, yeah.
Say it again.
Oh, I'm just saying it's a bit slow.
Oh, that's okay.
Um,
Here's what we'll do. I will deploy it on my side.
yeah.
I'm
That's
going to go
better.
here. Hello, Spring Boot to 7. I'm going to do the same things. I'm going to change this to, just for sake of time, 3.4.4.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say SDK use Java 23. This Java 23.0.2. Can't use Java 23.0.2. And BMW Spring Boot build image. And I should already have this build pack downloaded. Oh, nope, there's been a new version. But it's downloading a little bit faster on
Yeah.
my side. So we can go back here. We'll cancel this. And actually what we'll do is we'll get rid of that. We don't need that. Cleaning up behind myself. So hey, we're building an image. Oh, the problem is why I didn't do it here is because I'm building an ARM64 image. I forgot I need to add that platform. So please hold. I'm going to go grab, instead of building an ARM64 image, I'm going to tell it to build an x86 image. So with the latest build pack, even though I'm on an ARM64 machine, I'm able to build an x86 image. So let's go back here. Let's try that again with this property that says, hey, I want you to target x86. It says it's wait, what? Parameter must not be used in config. What? No, that's right. So it says, hey, we're pulling that down. But why does this? I don't want that to be. This is a bug. This is something because I have a multi-architecture build pack, I want to be able to define, and I don't think that this should be a warning. So we can see here that we're pulling down x86. I should hear right here, that's showing that it's pulling down the AMD 64 version of the JRE, which is what we want. So even though I'm on ARM64, I'm building an x86 image. This is awesome. This is what we got with Spring Boot 3.4. We got the multi-architecture build pack by default. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to say docker tag hello Spring 0.0.1 snapshot. We're going to tag it with Deshaun in Azure demo. Then I'm going to say docker push Deshaun in Azure demo. So that's pushing it up to my Docker registry. And then we're just going to pull this image down. You can see that I built another one of your images. Nope,
Yep.
not one of yours. That was Google Bayo's. I built image for him to run over there on my other cluster. So now let's go back, and all we're going to do is we're going to change. Let's go make sure that I have a latest. I go to Deshaun.com. I think I have a Docker Hub. In Azure demo tags, I just have latest.
The latest.
So if I go here, I say Deshaun in Azure demo latest. Let's see if this works.
Mm-hmm.
Terraform plan. And I want to see that it's going to let us replace that image. So I expect one change. Nothing new, nothing to destroy. I expect one change. One change. All right. Terraform apply auto approve.
Approve.
Make that change. And even though this hasn't been like super fast for us, right? We've been doing this for a little while. I think that the results here, by having things defined as code so that we can make changes, I think that this is a better experience. And I think it was David. He's like, hey, like, how should we do this? I like to have things in code. I like to have things in a Git repo for even when I'm deploying. I want to have an idea like, hey, here's the things that I want deployed in production. I want to be able to define an image version, right? And then I change it. Like, hey, I don't want that version anymore. That's what we're doing here. I don't want BSN API 100 anymore. I want the Sean Ian Azure demo latest. And all I'm doing, ideally, this would be in a Git repo. And I would have done a Git commit. And that commit would fire off the deploy. It would fire off the Terraform apply. But having it defined as code, instead of you or me, somebody saying, hey, deploy this version, and then going into the UI to make a change and, copy paste something, that's for the birds, right? Having things in this Git commit, Git flow, whatever you want to call it, Git driven, right? Git ops. So like, hey, here's the version that I want. Go and deploy it. Uh-oh, I gotta. I'm gonna ignore that one. So now, let's see what happened. I still don't have an ingress or a URL, which is a little bit concerning. But let's go see. I'm gonna switch back to your screen, Azure Portal. Let's see if it deployed. Did it get that version?
Let me see. Okay. So I think I can failed to launch, failed to execute, bucket to build. Let me just show you the logs. I don't know why you can't see it though.
It'll get there. We'll get there eventually. It says failed to launch. See, exact format. Oh, So this is saying that we didn't get that exact format error. That tells me that it was an ARM64 image, but let's take a look. So let's switch back. I'm gonna go back here. Boop. Let's go over here. Let's say we did Docker push. Let's do Docker inspect. It says AMD 64. AMD 64. Let's go over here. Let's go look at our image here. AMD 64. It is an AMD 64 image. So why? Yes. Love Terraform, especially with provisioning on AWS. Like, hey, Terraform allows us to be comfortable deploying and provisioning things on whatever cloud. If it's in the cloud or if it's on-prem, like we want those kind of things. Now, this is my wife. I got to take this call. So please hold. I'm going to, I'll mute myself here. Give me a second. Okay, unfortunately, well, no, it's fortunate for me. My wife would like to have breakfast with me. I've been down here for a little while. I miss out breakfast with the kids. I'm going to go have lunch with my wife. But Ian, what time is it there?
It's 5:32.
Okay, so we've got time. I'm going to go have lunch with my wife. We're going to come back and we're going to finish this. I don't know why that error is saying the exec format error. I don't know that in my head, that's an ARM64 image issue. So we'll figure that out. But we're going to come back. If you have time, make another hello world image and we'll push it up. Fubarkix, thank you so much for hanging out with us. It's been a pleasure. And everybody, like, this has been fun. We've had good questions along the way. We've been doing good things. Terraform, I hope that at a minimum, you're a little bit more comfortable with Terraform and this idea of infrastructure as code and software defined infrastructure. Because what we can do now, you can go so that we're not running up our bill. You can go do Terraform destroy, and you can shut all that down because you're going to go eat breakfast or whatever. And when we come back, we just do Terraform apply, and it stands it up so that the bill's not running. We get billed per millisecond in the cloud.
Yeah.
So Terraform destroy it. When we come back, we'll sync up over Discord or something. When we come back, we'll stand it up. How does that sound? I'm going to let you do that. You Terraform destroy it. We don't need it. Terraform destroy it. And when we come back, we'll take a look at this again. But we'll sync up and we'll finish this exercise.
Awesome.
All right, my friend. Take care. I'm going to go have lunch with my wife. Or breakfast with my wife.
Okay. Nice lunch.
All right. See you.
See you.